Well, here we are after another Saturday of Premier League games, and Liverpool has decided to join Chelsea in the mud. Don't like to say that, especially after all I talked about Chelsea yesterday. I really hoped that we'd get the 3 points away at Brighton this week. Absolute stinker. We'll get into that. First off, games for the weekend. Everton dropping points at home against Southampton gives Southampton good 3 points, shoot them up closer away from the bottom of the table, which they're sitting 3 points behind before the game. Nottingham Forest, 2 goals from Brennan Johnson on the double for the day, gets an important 3 points for the Forest against Leicester. Lower league table battle. It's really tight in that bottom. And Wolves with another 3 important points for a relegation side against West Ham, which is also competing for relegation. We got Southampton on 15, Everton at 15, West Ham at 15, Bournemouth at 16, Wolves at 17, Leicester at 17, Leeds at 17. So looking at form, looking at signings coming in this January, Southampton is looking better than most, honestly, especially with that win against City in the EFL Cup. Everton trying to put pieces together, not looking good for them right now. West Ham, start of the season, everyone's thinking it's just a bad few games. They had such a good season last year, not gonna ruin it. They'll find that form again. And it just really hasn't worked out for them. Sitting at 4 wins and 3 draws after 19 games, 15 points. They are genuinely a relegation contender. Bournemouth, one of mine, I'm voting to go down. They do not seem like a Premier League club. Their loss against Burnley in the midweek really showed some of their flaws in the back and not really being able to break down a team. Wolves have actually been calling for signings in January, presumably about to sign 3 new players, none of which are Portuguese, which would really help their attack and get them out of that relegation zone. They're sitting in 16th, but only 2 points off of safety. And then Leicester, I think they'll survive. I think they'll do it, but it'll be close. They have not been putting in promising performances, given especially the loss against Nottingham Forest today, which is currently sitting at 13th. They were really tight in that bottom 5, bottom 3 for most of the season, and over the past month or so really shot themselves up to 13th, sitting at 20, but then again, only 5 points off the bottom. So it's really tight in the bottom. So important 3 points for those clubs today. Moving on to the Manchester Derby, 2-1 Manchester United at home. Ten Hag really showed his strengths in this one, especially with his squad. Their long balls passing throughout the game really exposed City's high line on the defense, constantly creating chances. And even though it was 0-0 at halftime, really had a feeling it was only a matter of time till they scored. After City scored, it seemed less likely that they would actually get back into the game, given the whole reputation and feel about City, how well they are at controlling games. But United brought it to them, and honestly, fair play. They did it well, and they got the goals. Bruno Fernandes with a controversial goal, with Rashford running onto the ball from an onside position, and then Fernandes from an onside position puts the ball in the back of the net. City defenders let off Rashford, thinking he's offsides, decide not to play the ball, and it ends up costing them. Should it be an offsides call? Probably. Sorry, Akanji. But, you play to the whistle, and it's cost you an equalizer in this game with only moments later for Rashford to put it away. So quick attacking throughout the game really showed how someone can really break down this City team and why they aren't finding themselves at the top of the league this season. So I honestly have really downplayed the recent success of United. Didn't think it'd come together for them this season, and they've really found form under Ten Hag, especially with Casemiro in the CDM role, really being able to control the game, actually put together plays, passage of movement up the field, and those quick long balls from Eriksson and Bruno Fernandes have been really executed well. Really fair play to them. And the one I don't want to talk about, Brighton 3, Liverpool 0. Alarm bells are ringing at Anfield. They are going off like crazy right now. What are we doing? I don't know. Turn on the game 15 minutes in. Only took me a few minutes to realize we weren't going to win this game. We were not going to win. Brighton a few weeks ago at home against Arsenal, which is also one of the top teams in the league, currently sitting first. Arsenal was 4-1 up, and Brighton nearly equalized. Ended up being 2-4 to Arsenal, but Brighton was always creating chances, never giving up, despite the 4 goals they've let in. They had an offsides goal that was called off that would have made it 3-4, and at that point, he could have equalized. So they're a dangerous side. They're currently sitting in 7th in the table with 30 points, 9 wins after 18 games. They're not a team to mess with at all, and I don't even think it comes down to the opponents for this one. For Liverpool, it's the zero chemistry. It seems to be a lack of idea between what we want to do, and I think part of that blame comes down to a lack of midfielders. It's being said time and time again by Liverpool fans and non-Liverpool fans alike that point proven in this game. We start the standard midfield lineup of our Henderson, Thiago, and Fabinho. And that is our strongest and only starting lineup we could possibly offer that would be viable for a game we want to get 3 points out of. From the time the whistle kicked off, it was all Brighton. Liverpool could not put passes together. The Brighton attack was constantly pressuring us. It was 1-2 passes, and then we lose the ball in our half most of the time. And honestly, I'm surprised it took 46 minutes. There was a penalty debacle that was rightfully taken off, but early scare for Liverpool around the half-hour mark. Made it to halftime 0-0, which was a surprise to all, mostly Klopp. You'd hope it's a chance to, regroup, get the team together, actually think about how are we going to beat this Brighton team that is outplaying us completely and try to get 3 points from this game. A minute after halftime, Solly March scores. 3 minutes after that, Solly March scores. And now you're looking at yourselves 2-0 down at the Albion, completely out of it. You're out of the game. I'm sorry. I don't care if it's the 53rd minute and it's only 2-0. If you're this Liverpool side, if you're playing with these guys and 0 subs, the subs for the game, I don't even want to talk about it. Keita, he should have left after his first season. He's been injured 90% of the time he's been with us. Keita is our first sub in the 68th minute. Doesn't offer enough going forward, constantly losing passes with loose passes and a lack of concentration, it seems like, in the game. Harvey Elliott, one of our most promising midfielders that can actually really contribute something in the team up and down the field, attacking chances down the right-hand side. Brought him on in the 69th minute. Ben Doak, who's actually a really promising, talented academies prospect that we brought up, who played a few weeks ago for us in the Cup, shouldn't be our third sub in a game we're losing 2-0 in the Prem when we're trying to get that top 4. He's 18. I don't care how good you are. Even Haaland at 18 is not going to be someone you want to sub on with 20 minutes to go, down 2 goals. And then Joe Gomez in the 69th minute. Someone that's kind of been lost with us in the past few years. He's really been trying to get that consistency back that he found during our title-winning league. Started winning season a few years ago, never really found that form after his injury, and that was it for the subs. And so you're looking at a midfield which is so dry, so lack of depth, lack of creativity. Our most creative player in the midfield is 20-ish-year-old Fabio Carvalho. Signed him for a few mil in the summer. He's around 20 years old, like I said, and we didn't even bring him on today, which kind of shows you where we're sitting at as a club with our lineup. Our defense leaks more water than a leaky faucet. Best analogy I can think of. There's goals to come. If you play Liverpool, even if you're Blackpool, League Two, Championship, I don't care. You're gonna score against this Liverpool team, and that's really worrying. But it's also unfortunately expected if you're a Liverpool fan or a neutral. You're gonna expect Liverpool to concede a goal, and with guys up top like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. When I saw this man line up as a starter a few weeks ago after the World Cup break, I thought, okay, good for him. He's getting a start in. He hasn't started a game for us for, 2-3 years. Okay, good for him. I like the man. Let him play. Doesn't do anything right. I mean, he's a midfielder. Don't know why he's a forward for us. He's a midfielder. We signed him as a midfielder. We've played him as a midfielder. He's played his best as a midfielder, and he starts as a left wing. In the cup, we get the win. It's whatever. Next game, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain starts. Getting question marks. Why is he still starting for us? I thought we had other guys like Diaz injured, Jota injured, Firmino injured. I'm like, all right, I'll deal with it. Next game starts, and here we are at Brighton, and he's starting, and he's contributing nothing. He's a bench player making 160K a week, and he is contributing nothing to this team. I'm sorry, love the man, but he's got to go. He's got to find another team. You get rid of him in this January. You sign a midfielder. Those are the obvious. That's the obvious. That's what you should be doing. But instead, we're going to consistently play this man up top. We haven't really done anything to try to get rid of him, try to get him off of our wage bill, bring someone new, someone younger. You could say, oh, you brought in Carvalho. You brought in Cody Gakpo, which was surprising. But then Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is still starting up top. Given it, we do have our injuries, but we shouldn't have him starting if we want to get some points. I mean, Nunez wasn't even playing today, so you can't even put the blame on him for not scoring goals. He's currently injured for a few games, and hopefully he'll come back stronger. Cody Gakpo, he'll work. I know he will. Really hasn't had much to offer so far, but then again, no one has. So you can't put the blame on him. And then Mo Salah was, I don't know, maybe it was Halloween and he had a ghost costume on because I couldn't see him. I could not see him on that field. The times I did see him, had the ball for a few seconds and it was an opposition throwing. So looking at the game in general, where do we go from here? Because right now, all that I said about Chelsea the other day, Liverpool finds themselves in the same position. Had they gotten a win today, you would have been looking at Liverpool sitting, in seventh place, or honestly, sixth place. We'd be sitting in sixth place, above Brentford, above Brighton, and above Fulham because we have the better goal difference, and Fulham does have an extra game in hand. So that would have brought us up all the way to essentially close to fifth place. And with Tottenham, if they lose tomorrow, that would have made it really good looking for us. Keep our hopes alive for the top four. But right now, you don't see it going up from here. Brighton, Brentford, Fulham are all winning games. They are all ahead of us in the table. Newcastle is not going to give up that top 4 spot. Haven't left it all year. I'm surprised no one's talking about them because they do have by far the best goal difference in the league. They are the only other team to have one loss other than Arsenal. So if you're Liverpool, you're looking at these, what you would consider relegation contending teams sitting ahead of you in the top half of the table. And you're starting Oxlade-Chamberlain up top. I mean, if we're going to look at some stats for the season, some really shocking ones I found. Most passes, we have second most passes, and we have the 4th least clean sheets. We have 4 clean sheets. Second most passes only to City. Second most shots only to City. Yet we have 8 wins in comparison to 12 wins for City and 14 for Arsenal. It's worrying, honestly. All I can hope for is that this January, you go get a midfielder. Everyone's been saying it from the high heavens for years. We lost Gini Wijnaldum what feels like a decade ago, who went to PSG. And that, by the way, let's acknowledge, we let him go. We chose to not sign a new contract, not offer a new contract with him. We let him go, said, thank you for playing with us. Enjoy your retirement, essentially. He hasn't played barely at all in Paris. Since then, we have not replaced him. We bought Keita, Flunk. We didn't buy Arthur or Artur, whatever you want to call him. We spent some cash for a loan deal for the year. And this is my biggest issue with Liverpool is our injuries. And this can also carry over to Chelsea if you're a Chelsea fan, is that why are these medical staffs and medical teams so lenient, it feels like, with just letting players that have just came off of injury go play? You look at Reece James for Chelsea. He's injured for several months. Comes back and gets injured within a half hour in his first game. Same with Luis Diaz. Been injured for months. And you're hoping, all right, you get a month and a half off for the World Cup. You're injured, you get time to, come back, rehabilitate, and slowly implement yourself into the team, into the starting lineup again. And what do? Oh, you're not feeling too good. You think you're feeling all ready to play, even though you've just been injured for a number of months. Let's start you up top for 60 minutes. See how you do. Injured. Boom. We'll get him back in March. Thanks for playing. Thanks for your 20 minutes on the field. Same with Jota. Jota's been injured for 3 freaking years. I seriously don't know why. I know why we signed him. But if we're going to sign him just to play him for 30 minutes every 5 months because he's injured every 5 months, just to get injured again, what are we doing? What are we doing behind the scenes, within the club, with the training staff? Why are we playing all of these players just to get injured again? Keita never plays for us. He played today as a sub, but he never plays for us. Artur, signed him as a loanee in the wee hours of the final day of the transfer window in August. Since that signing at the end of August, he's played for us about 16 minutes. Not 16 games. Not 16 hours. 16 minutes. Might as well be 16 seconds at this matter. Why are we spending... I don't even care if it's a couple $1 million. There's still a couple $1 million in wage fees that we're spending on a Juve player who is literally just collecting a paycheck. He's not eating good because he's in England, but he's, living his life. Basically an early retirement for him. He knows he's not going to play. He knows he's injured. Getting free Liverpool merch, little free paycheck just to sit on the bench. Swindled us. That's what it is. it's a joke. It's a joke. I don't know why we're buying these players. And it seems like every transfer rumor that comes up as well is just another injury prone player. The only one that is really hopeful is the Bellingham. The Bellingham, you've heard it a million times by now. 100 million, 110, 120, 130. Would I be surprised if he goes to Real Madrid? And could be tomorrow, could be next month. Would I be surprised? No. Would I be disappointed? Completely. Henderson and Arnold both play with him on the national team. There's a lot of public media about them, and they're what I can assume is a friendship over social media during the Cup. And I mean, the man wants to play in England. You can't deny that. I'm sure everyone would love to go and play in Madrid, but grew up in Birmingham. He's been in Germany for the past 2-3 years. I can't say anyone would not want to come back to their home country and play for one of the greatest Premier League clubs. It doesn't matter who that is. You want to play for a great Premier League club. It's everyone's dream. If you're an American, you dream of playing in the NFL. If you're in England, you dream of playing in the Premier League. Simple as that. You have a lot of weight as a club. All you need to do is dish out the cash, but wait. FSG want to invest in a new NBA franchise. So they won't dish out the cash. They don't care if it's messy. They're not going to buy them. Even if Klopp wants them. Because what does Klopp know? He doesn't want an NBA franchise, but FSG does. So I really don't think it'll happen. My optimism is at an all-time low for this transfer. All I can hope for is that we get some type of midfielder. I don't even know who. Somebody that can actually offer something up and down, like a Conor Gallagher. What a signing that would be if we picked up someone like him. Really offers an attacking presence up and down the field, works like a horse, does not stop running. We need someone like him because that hole has never been filled ever since we let go of Wijnaldum. So we have about 20-ish or less games left in the season. And right now, Chelsea and Liverpool are just living the life. What's wrong with mid-table? Am I right? What's wrong with mid-table? Liverpool find themselves in 9th place. Oh, look, they're kitty cornering Chelsea. It's like the friendship that was meant to be. Both mid. Better than Aston Villa and Crystal Palace. Worse than Brentford and Brighton. That is the world we live in. And I don't think you could script it any better. Because the next game is Liverpool versus Chelsea. I'll do you a favor and tell you not to watch that game because it's going to end 0-0. It's going to be boring. It is going to be boring, and it's going to be painful to watch for both fans. We will want to tear our eyes out. We will be crying watching our teams play this game and probably the rest of this season. All you can hope for as a Liverpool or Chelsea fan is that something happens in the Champions League to warrant a return next year, because it's not going to come in the league. I haven't seen Liverpool play Europa League football since 2017, and I'm really scared I'm going to see them there next year, if we make the Europa League, that is. I mean, what's wrong with Conference League, am I right? But more tomorrow as the highly anticipated North London Derby, which is one of my favorite games, will be featuring, obviously, Arsenal and Tottenham at 11:30 Eastern. Arsenal could really stamp their position at the top of the table. A win sends them 8 points, if that's correct, 8 points on top of the table above City, and 9 points. Wait. That's 9 points. They'd be 9 points on top of the table if Arsenal win against Tottenham away tomorrow, given it'll be a very difficult game. You're playing at the what should be White Hart Lane, and that'll send you 10 points above or 9 points above United. Yeah, that was 8 points for City, 9 points for United. Regardless, you win tomorrow, you're cruising. You lose tomorrow, you're still cruising 5 points on top of the table. I'd love to be in your position right now, Arsenal fans. So, more tomorrow. This was my Saturday Premier League roundup. Peace.